acknowledging the Songhees of the Esquimalt Nation, whose traditional territories we live, we learn, and we do our work, and we're meeting here tonight. Welcome to people around the table and those in the audience. And we're going to do some introductions just so everybody can get to know everyone else. We have some new faces around the tables tonight, so I'd like to start with Sarah, and we'll go around.
Thanks, Sharon. Hi, I'm Sarah Winkler. I am the president of the Victoria Principals Vice Principals Association.
Hi, my name is Alana Hampton. I'm a learning support teacher at Silicon Elementary, and I'm the Prodi chair for the GVSD.
Hi, I'm Marlene Harwood. I'm director.
Hi, I'm Katrina Stride, secretary treasurer.
Good evening, everyone. Deb Winton, superintendent.
Hi, I'm Sherry Bell, official trustee.
Hi, everyone. Tom Arts, Associate Superintendent.
Good evening, Sean Powell, Associate Superintendent.
Julie Lattner, associate secretary treasurer.
It's Quichu and I think Juan Sisters, student success manager. Natalia Christensen, standing in for our current president, Shauna. QP947. Jeff.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Davis, Director of International Education.
Mike Nixon, Director of Emergencies.
Josh Marks, acting district principal by IT for Learning.
Thank you and welcome to our audience members. We're going to get started right away. I just wanted to remind people that if you have a question for a question period, there's a box over here or a basket along with paper. And if you have a question intended for question period, please submit it by the end of the superintendent's report on the agenda. I'd like to approve the agenda and approve the minutes from April 29th, 2025. We're going to jump right down to A5. And A5 is district celebrations. And we have some students here to be celebrated and for all of us here and those people that are on our YouTube channel to be able to see you and also celebrate you. This group of students, our superintendent is going to do a presentation, but the group of students we have here are the Representative Advisory Council of Students. And so 10 years ago, or longer, I was a superintendent in this district. And I started working with students for this council. We created a policy and the students picked that title for the group. And still to this day, every time I say it, I kind of stumble through it, but they were very adamant that that was going to be the name of the group. We're really fortunate to have 5 members here, and Superintendent Whitten is going to do some introductions and talk a little bit about what the group does for the school district. But before she does that, I just want to thank you for being here, and thank you to anyone that's online and on YouTube that is part of this really important committee. Deb.
Thank you. So yes, thank you to the 5 of you for coming this evening. We've had the great pleasure of meeting on a monthly basis. And we've talked about district policies, we've talked about the district budget, we've talked about emergent items, we've done tours of schools, and we've done updates. And I think we as a senior leadership team have certainly benefited by your wisdom, by your expertise, and by your lived experiences. So we're very thankful for you having spent the time with us. And we also have taken feedback that you've given us this year to move forward into next year. 2 other things that I wanted to note that took a lot of time and energy, and we had unbelievable turnout. So we had members of this group who led, organized, facilitated, walked us all through an equity, diversity, and inclusion forum earlier in April. We had about 60 students from middle schools and secondary schools come and spend the morning. We had a group from Crean who came and walked us through equity, diversity, and inclusion. Lots of learning and lots of things. Again, it was student-led. I can tell you for sure, the adults in that room also benefited from the learning and from the understanding. So thank you very much for the group for putting that together. We also had a wellness, and this was the second wellness fair that was student-led. That involved community organizations that came to Vic High, and students from middle and secondary again were bused to this event and could walk through Vic High and work with community organizations that they were interested in. So again, that was student-led, student organized and facilitated and was on behalf of this group. So a lot of impact that you have had throughout the district, and also just leading a legacy moving forward. So we did, on behalf of the district, want to thank you very much for your time and energy, and some of you are grade 11, some of you are grade 12. So we recognize some of you will not be with us next year, but we did really truly want to thank you and recognize for all of your time. So, Roxanne, you can come up and get your certificate. Thank you very much. And Aya's on Zoom, so I just want to thank Aya as well, we'll get you the certificate as well as the certificates to all the other members. So again, thank you, and thank you so much for your wisdom, for your leadership, and just leading us forward. We wish you well moving forward, whether you're out of secondary school and into other things, or whether you have one more year left. Thank you. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you, and I just have a question, and it doesn't matter if you answer it. I want to know, what was one thing that you did in the time that you were on the council that you think really made an impact on our school district? Whoever has an answer, just stand up and let us know. Thank you.
I think something that had a good impact on the school district was the EUI forum. I was part of facilitating and leading that, and I think having a forum like that going forward would be really amazing for our school district.
Wow, wonderful, and thank you for your involvement in that. Anyone else want to share what they think had an impact?
Being a part of this group inspired me to collaborate with the vice principal of my school. And we started a student voice circle at Oak High, which is sort of like this group, but for only Oak High students, and we meet twice a month at lunch, and we talk about different issues and different questions that everyone has. So this group has inspired me to start.
Wonderful, thank you. Anyone else?
I think one of the things that has benefited all of us is having our voices being heard and just not hearing stuff from students or like just teachers and people in a position of respect higher than us. So it's like having the student voice actually inputting stuff that would benefit them and what they see actually happens.
Perfect, thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think one thing that helped was just learning about what other schools are doing and what we can achieve in our school or input that. Like a lot of different events of other schools, so I think just learning about the district more and budget stuff helps a lot.
And you did really help with our budget. For those people that were at our budget meeting, we spent a fair bit of time looking at the input and the rating system that you created as a group that was important to you. Anyone else? You don't have to speak if you don't want to. Okay.
Echo what they all said.
That's a good response. Well, thank you so much for all your work and all the best to you in the future. How many of you are graduating this year? Oh, wow, great. Well, and we've got some grade 11 students that are obviously staying on, so perfect. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for your contributions to the district. You're more than welcome to stay, and you're also more than welcome to go, because I'm sure you've got homework and other things to do at this time of year. So whatever you do is absolutely fine with us. Thanks. Next one is community presentations. We don't have any this month. Correspondence, and then my report. So I'd like to start my report with a pretty powerful evening that was spent last week. There are a few people around the table here that were part of that. Anna Ray was there, and Tina and Deb and myself. We were part of a group that got together to celebrate the signing of the local education agreement with Songhees Nation. And it was it was actually a perfect way of celebrating the hard work that went into that. I know it's Shelley Wilton, who is our Indigenous Education Director, was the facilitator of all of it and did a tremendous amount of work. So we got together, and as I said at that meeting, Chief Ron Sam and I we had the opportunity to sign the agreement. But we both felt that our signatures, we would have loved to have everyone sign it, because we didn't do the work that went into creating this. I think is a milestone agreement that other districts in the province will be looking at, because it doesn't just involve education in the local education agreement. It involves the entire school district. And the people that were brought together, everyone from finance to human resources to international people were involved in the creation of the agreement. And now we get to be part of watching it being implemented and being part of the implementation. It's a contract. It's something that we as a school district have to work towards achieving what's in there and following what is in the agreement. And so whether you're a teacher or you're CUPE, everyone is going to be involved in the implementation of that. And so that was a pretty special night. As well as the people that were working on the agreement, Songhees has a parent advisory council, and which Anna chairs, and there were other parents at the dinner, and that was pretty wonderful to see. So a huge thank you to Songhees Nation, who's hosted it, and a big thank you to anyone that was involved in the writing of the agreement. So that was our real highlight. I also this month attended the VC PAC elections, and we have some VC PAC members in the audience. Thank you for coming, and congratulations on your new roles with VC PAC. There was an election that took place, and there's a new president and a lot of new faces that we'll see around the table at BC PAC. So I'm looking forward to a meeting with the PAC president tomorrow, I think it is, just to get to know her a little bit better. And I'd like to congratulate Braden on the work that he did as BC PAC president in his tenure, and look forward to seeing more of the executive here at board meetings and in other places. So that was something else that was great. Went to a breakfast at Songhees Nation to celebrate kids and to look forward to the next school year and to celebrate accomplishments for this year. It was a really well-attended breakfast, and it was just a great informal way of meeting people, seeing students, and connecting with the community. We have something called the Partners Table that, but it's a reframed name is now Partners of School District 61. And we meet monthly and talk about pretty big meaty items. And one of the ones that we were discussing at our last meeting was something that's actually become quite popular in the news these days, which is trustee electoral reform or trustee electoral districts. And we'll be looking at that at our next meeting. If you haven't been listening to the news, we've received letters from all of the municipalities, cities, and our two nations saying that this is something that we should be talking about. And so we're convening a meeting later this week with those groups to just see where people are coming from and see if there's a way forward or what are the stumbling blocks. So it's an exploratory very first meeting before anything else happens from there. So I'm looking forward to that. I also attended a literacy event that celebrated schools, and Sarah, you were there. Yeah. So 10 of the schools in our district were sharing what they were doing with literacy at their school. And there was, I have actually brought my passport with me because I did visit all 10. So this is learning together, and the celebration was such a huge opportunity to learn from one another. I think in education, we don't do that enough. There's great things happening and you don't hear about it. Well, this allowed schools to share, teachers to share with one another. We had lots of board office folks there and others that were wandering around asking teachers what they were doing around literacy in their district, and each presentation was very different than the one next door. Some had been working on a project for 4 or 5 years. I went to one table that said, you know what, I came 2 years ago and I learned what another school was doing, now we're doing it. Which is fantastic. That's the kind of sharing we want to see. And of course, students are always the beneficiaries of very creative, talented teachers who are incredibly dedicated to making a difference in those 10 schools and all of our elementary schools, but this was in particular 10. So the celebration was at Vic High. Coincidentally, I got to see another program while I was there. We had a group of middle school, high school age new Canadians that were meeting in a room at Vic High in an after school program. They were doing some printmaking and they get together and do a lot of different things. But what was powerful was these students came from all over the school district. They were making, again, connections. Some of them had been in Canada a very short time, some had been here for a while. It was open to anyone. Somebody brought a friend with them that hadn't been part of the group. But the energy in that room with these students was phenomenal. And it just gave them a place to go, to connect, and to feel really accepted and warm. The Sam, the EA from our school district, you can see her energy is everywhere. So it's a really great partnership between the school district and Berks. That's the partnership. So yeah, and then the students that come just make it. So that was another highlight. I want to congratulate anyone that was involved in the professional development day a couple of weeks ago, the Indigenous Storytelling Day. That is a sellout event that has been taking place for a few years now. And all I've heard from anyone that's been is just such positive stories of what they learned and where we can go next. So I think I'll conclude my remarks there and say I'm looking forward to June and all of the celebrations that take place in June, and especially seeing some of our wonderful students graduate as they move on to wherever they're going in life, whether it's post-secondary or into the world of work. So all the best to you. And that's the end of my report. I'm going to go to the board committee reports and start with the audit subcommittee. Any comments that Julia or Katrina you want to make? So the audit planning report, I'm going to put the motion on and then talk a little bit about what we did. So the recommended motion is that the official trustee of School District 61 approves the audit planning report as presented to the audit subcommittee. And if you have a package, a board meeting package in front of you or online, you can see it's quite lengthy. This is a document that we sat with KPMG, who put this together along with our finance staff. And it's basically every year the school district is audited, and this is the plan for the audit. And again, it's in the package. So that motion has been carried. The next one is around the quarterly financial report. official trustee of School District 61 accepts the March 2025 quarterly financial report as presented to the audit subcommittee. So in the audit subcommittee, we spend a fair bit of time going through the items quite in detail, lots of questions, always answers. So I appreciate the work that goes into creating the package. So Julie and Katrina, thank you. And the conversation really takes place at the committee level. So by the time it comes to the board, in this case anyways, I'm very happy to pass that motion and compliment people for the work it takes to put that together. Moving on to E, superintendent's report. Over to you, Deb.
Thank you. So you will see, starting on page 44 of the backup, some learning events that occurred for the month of May. This report for May highlights 10 of many learning opportunities throughout the month. Some special gratitude and congratulations. To highlight one again from Trustee Bell's, the many thanks to Erin and Fran and Annabelle and Sami's Pack for their important relational hard work, and also Shelley from Indigenous Education Department for all of the work for the LEA. We would say quite confidently that this is the best LEA that the province has, and really believe that it will be one that will be others will go to and look at for guidance, and that came from 9 months of work. Lots of collaborative conversations, lots of back and forth on what makes sense for students, and lots of really, really important things that we look forward to doing in the future in relation with Songhees Nation. Also, again, want to thank Indigenous Education Department as well as the many organizing committee members for the work of May 16th, which was the Indigenous focused professional development day. We had over 1,600 participants all across all of our schools, many student participants, many presenters, many elders, guests, principals, vice principals, and teachers, and EAs. So a fantastic learning opportunity on that day. This is a 4th annual, and I think it gets bigger and better every year. So again, these organizing committees do a ton of work prior to the day, and that actual day is a celebration of the work, but really relies heavily on volunteers to make that a successful day. And lastly, also just want to provide gratitude to the SOGI and GSA leads throughout the school. We had a Rainbow Week, May 12th to the 16th. Very important that all of students and staff have a safe and inclusive space to be learning in, and that this is every day, all year, not just a week of Rainbow, but really important that this is recognized throughout the year. So I want to thank all of the leads in schools and throughout the district for the work that they do every day. And then we have a few other exciting things for the rest of May and lots happening in June. Accessibility Week starts May 25th. We also have a beach day for deaf and hard of hearing students on the 28th on Wednesday. We have elementary track finals, always an exciting opportunity for elementary students to run and be cheered on by their families and schools. That's on the 29th up at UVic. On the 30th, there is the 50th anniversary for Spectrum Community School. And throughout the month of June, we have grad celebrations. So we have every secondary school having a grad, as well as Songhees Nations hosting grad, Esquimalt Nation hosting their grad, and Indigenous Education Department hosting a grad. So that's a lot of grad events and a lot of opportunities to celebrate the good work that the graduates have done in their K-12 career, and wish them well as they move forward. So that is my monthly report.
Thank you. I have to say, I mean, it's all wonderful, but the fact that Macaulay raised $30,000 in a walkathon kind of just jumped off the page. Raising like $500 on top of 30,000. I think that's just absolutely remarkable. Like, anyone know what they're going to be doing with the money?
I don't.
Oh, we have someone in the audience that does, okay.
Actually, our third year in a row, bringing in.
Super impressive, yes, well done. The other one that also kind of drew me in was the Spectrum student organizing Marigold Elementary Robotics Competition. Last month, we looked at a high school partnering with an elementary school. And you know, that doesn't happen just by coincidence. There's a lot of people behind there that help that happen. But I think that was really impressive for, it's, you know, you walk across the parking lot from Spectrum to Marigold and I thought that was pretty special too. And one other thing is the elementary track finals. It's the 60th anniversary this year of the track. Finals. Is a lot of time that and a lot of volunteer hours that have gone into the elementary track finals over the 60 years. So thank you for your report. And we'll move on to the Secretary Treasurer's report. Katrina, do you want to highlight anything in your monthly financial report or the monthly budget change report?
Yeah, I'll just, for the monthly financial report, it's for the year from July 1st to April 30th, so for 10 months. The budget numbers that are in there are the amended budget plus any changes. And just highlight, we're pretty similar this year as we were to last year, so if you look at the revenue total, that's on page 46. Current year, we're at 18%, which is exactly the same as last year. And the total for expenses, which is on page 48, current year is at 23% budget available to spend compared to 22% last year. So there wasn't really anything within the report that sort of jumped out. So pretty standard.
Good, I have no questions. What about the change report?
Budget change report, I'll just highlight the new items in the operating fund. So in this report, we highlight any significant changes to expenses and then any new revenue. And so on page 49, there are a few new items since the last time we presented the report. Quite a few of them, the ones that say February at the front, they're all related to the 1701 February submission and enrollment adjustments related to that. So inclusive ed up by 506,000, new refugee and English language learners up 128,000. CE, DL, and pathways and partnerships are down just slightly. And also we received some labor settlement funding for teacher professional development of 158,000. And ELC pathway project, and this is $7,500 comes through the South Island Partnership. And in this case, helped pay for buses for the grade 8s who are traveling to for tours of post-secondary. And then lastly, miscellaneous donations and revenue, 15,000. And there were no changes in special purpose and just some increase in interest income in the capital, 10,000 in local capital and 36,000 in ministry restricted capital.
Thank you. And there's no motions attached to that. Moving on to F, which is question period. I've got a question that came in prior to the meeting and I'm going to read it out loud. On behalf of the players and parents of Spectrum Thunder Football, could you update us please and provide and be provided on the turf project? The turf will be used by many schools and community teams, but as our season begins the first week of school, we need to begin planning as soon as possible. We are working with community partners, but any information held by the district is appreciated. And I'm going to pass that to Associate Superintendent Tom Martz to give us an update on Spectrum.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. The Spectrum Turf Committee continues to work really hard to secure the funds needed for that project. At this time, we have no scheduled work that is set to take place on the field at Spectrum, as they do not have the required funds yet to move the project forward. Having said that, should they be able to come up with the funds, we would like to look to move probably fairly quickly. So once we do know a schedule, we will let the school community know right away, because we are aware of the impact that losing a field will have on a school, as well as the benefit that with the end result when all weather turf is in. So at this time, a real update on our plan. Hopefully, they are able to secure the money soon. We talked earlier in the meeting about raising $30,000. This is a lot more, so it's tough to say when the money will be able to be secured, but as soon as it is, we will look to move as quick as we can and talk and update the community.
Great, and I've got the person's contact information if you want to contact
Perfect. I'd be happy to.
Anne.
Yeah, I'd be happy to follow up. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
and there were no
No
questions here.
Okay. So. We are going to move from there to public disclosure of in-camera items. In your packages under G1 and G2, you can see the regular section 75, which gives you topics that were talked about at the in-camera sessions. And there are times when there are topics that are discussed that need to be brought out into the public. And so I have one under public disclosure of in-camera items that was discussed today at an in-camera meeting prior to this one. And I'll read you the motion that was carried. That the school district has extended and amended the lease agreement with School District 93, which is the Francophone School District. CSF for short, for a portion of the land at Brayfoot Elementary located at Harrop Road, while the new École Beau de Soleil is being under development. So this isn't anything new for people that have driven past Brayfoot. Those buildings have been there for some time. So this is just an extension of the lease while they build their new building. And that was carried in camera and is now made public. All right. There is no new business or notices of motion. And the last item on our agenda is the motion to adjourn. This has been a very quick meeting. There's not a lot of, I wait till June. This is gonna go a little bit longer than, because we've got quite a few items coming forward in June. And I just want to thank people for joining us tonight and
I just wanted to thank the district for bringing in cultural protocol for two of the events like locations within the district, because that meant a lot and also brought cultural perspective to the event. So I just wanted to point.
well, thank you so much. Anyone else have anything they want to add before we close or questions? Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting, but if you want to have a conversation afterwards, we're here for a while. So thanks so much for joining us. And thanks for the people who are online or on YouTube.